Hi, Colleen.
Hey there, Kelly. So what do you have for the Great Northern Sex Cast this week?
I have a lot of stuff, but before I even get to what I have here...
there's this big sheath of paper sitting on her lap here.
So we need to talk about adoption and then Italy.
Okay.
Okay. So you actually are very familiar with adoption. You're an adoptive parent.
Yes, I am. Although, honestly, the rules have changed so much since, like 20 years ago when I started it, that, other than the fact that it takes an enormous amount of time, I don't, a lot of stuff has changed.
Yes. Okay, well, check this out. Yeah. If you think it's changed in the 18 glorious years that, you have had your daughter, you should see how much it's changed since 1966 when a friend of mine was adopted. And long story short, she did one of those Ancestry DNA or 20, I think it was Ancestry. Long story short, her birth father, who is now deceased, a cousin from that side contacted her. The birth mother is still alive. We know where she is. I actually found the address. But anyway, she has made contact with a great aunt on that side who did not know that her mother had her because she was shipped from Pennsylvania to California to a Catholic place.
Even in the 60s, 70s, it really wasn't until to the 80s where there were more resources for for folks that may have wanted to, there was less shame involved.
Well, Mom, the birth mother, went on to get a PhD and was quite successful. She's retired now. So after she had the conversation with the great aunt, so it would be the birth mother's aunt, she's going to, send this letter. She's never had any other children. We don't know if the man she's been married to him for like 20 years, knows. We have no idea how this is going to go. But I mean, it was something that she didn't really set out to do. And her adoptive mother has been passed away like 20 years ago, and her adopted dad is not doing well. So for her, when she's apparently got 5 half sisters on the birth father side.
No, I had a friend of mine that had something similar happen. I'm not sure how or why it ended up happening, but he found out that this person found out that their birth mother and their birth father did eventually get married and have 2 more children, and they look like triplets.
Oh God!
You read into it. It's really sweet. Because sometimes these things are good, sometimes they're bad. But it's really fun. But it is. I'd be curious.
Yeah. As the mom, like would you be?
Oh, I have. I mean, I know a lot of information about my daughter's birth mother. And so, if it was ever feasible to travel down, I know she has 2 half sisters.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. That were 10 and 12 when she had them, so they're already in their 30s.
Okay.
So she probably has, she has nieces or nephews, I bet.
Okay.
Well, I've never not, it's always been part of the conversation.
That's and my brother has an adoptive son, and he has a relationship with his birth mother's family. So, and that's fine with everybody.
Yeah, it's sort of cool because just families are, there's genetics, and then there's your chosen family.
Yep.
I mean, I have a fairly small genetic family. My dad was an only child. My mom was one of 9, but they're all in Ohio and other places. But my chosen family is insane.
Yeah.
And I love every single one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's an amazing thing. And there was something else I had on that, but I just think it was so interesting that this kind of got blown wide open just by almost accident.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And it's going to be happening more and more as people do this and find out what's going through there. My favorite ones are the sperm donors. You find out, stuff like this person, I really do think that if you're going to donate sperm, there should be like a limit.
I do too.
Yeah, that's an awful lot, especially since it's used to be anonymous or stuff are going through there, or the places where you find out when the physician used their own sperm.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Well, I just either way, I think that what your daughter's birth mom and what my friend's birth mom did was incredibly selfless. So it was very nice.
Yeah. That's how we made our family, and I'm eternally grateful to her.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay. So did we ever talk about Italy and decriminalizing masturbation in public?
No.
Yeah.
This is perfect for me because we're only a few days left of Masturbation Day.
Okay.
Yesterday was supposed to be like Masturbation Month. Yesterday was supposed to be like Masturbation Day, but some folks think it's May 7th. But honestly, as far as I'm concerned, you could have multiple official masturbation days, which I'm pretty sure would be every damn day of the year. But yes. Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, yeah. So on my way here, I actually rode in with my husband, and it came up that, they have decriminalized. I said, well, is crime so bad that they're just going to focus on other things? Because they just, and he said, well, I don't know. But he goes, they just aren't going to pursue it anymore. And he said, I'm just wondering if it's going to turn into Rome, where it's like, if it feels good, do it. And I said, that just for me, urination, anything where you're excreting in public, no. I don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I do know that the city of Minneapolis has sort of cut back on like nuisance stuff, to focus on other things. But I do think that, I suppose, if you're masturbating but nothing's showing, which is different, because it just seems a little weird. Especially for a country that, has, I don't know, the Pope in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm confounded by that.
There does seem to be such a dichotomy sometimes between, the Pope being there and the Catholic religion and, everyday lives of human beings. But decriminalizing masturbation in public, I think it's going to be a while before the U.S. gets to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So, if you go to have lunch in a park, that's kind of a cool thing, during the workday. It's pretty get out, especially when you live a place like we do.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and I guess they just reopened Rice Park in St. Paul. I saw an article on that because it had been shut down for redoing, for renovation for like a year.
And it's a neat park. It's a really cute park. Well, so going to the park is kind of a treat. So you can only go to the park at the park, but you can fuck anywhere. Mm-hmm. So these people in London were out having their lunch when a couple just went at it and started having sex. And this article that's written up about it, one of them's like, I couldn't finish my lunch. I just couldn't believe it was so brazen. And, the sun was out. It was very busy and blah, blah, blah. And people were describing it as horrific. They didn't ask to see that.
No, there's... I'm pretty sure that, almost a very large part of the stuff we sometimes, we talk about on the show is about implied consent. Mm-hmm. See, there's not consent to the people that are there. If you're going to out to a resort that is nudity and sexually freeing, you expect, by booking a room there, there is consent that you will see. Yep. Sexual activity, wandering down, on your 45-minute lunch break to have, a sandwich. Mm-hmm. You do, in a public park, you don't expect that, but you also don't expect, masturbation in public in, Italy either. So
that's what I'm saying.
See, the consent issue is, is really tough, and that's huge now. Not only with everything, going through there.
There's a really interesting, toward the end of the show, it's kind of more of a discussion kind of story, but we'll get more into consent in the turn from the 18th to the 19th to the 20th century. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good. It involves hat pins. You'll like it. Anyway, that's a little preview for later. Okay. This is funny. Okay. Tinder. I've never used it. But I did meet my husband on Match.com. Mm-hmm. So I get the online dating thing. I kind of feel like the I don't hear as much as about long-term relationships coming out of these things anymore, as where it's kind of gone into more of a hookup thing. Have you?
Yeah. Most of my friends are coupled up. There are some folks that are single and stuff like that. And I know that most of them are signed up to some sort of online dating stuff. But I honestly don't know anyone who uses Tinder, because they're just, it's a different thing that you're looking for. It's, a bar online. Hell, there were hookups when we went to our, when we were in our 20s, when we went to bars. This is just, but I didn't see too many, I suppose if you were I suppose there's I suppose there's like hookup bars for older folks in the Twin Cities, but I wouldn't know what they are.
There's something just appalling at the thought of that. But yes, I'm sure you're right. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to do this, though, everybody says honesty is really important. In fact, I think it was last show we talked about, one of the top turnoffs, were the pouty mouth pictures and truthful things or old pictures. So this guy, he has on his profile, and a woman who was looking at him shared this, which I don't think is cool. It's in Tinder, and but this guy said, she put it on Twitter. He really likes fingernails. And she said, this Tinder never truly fails to amaze me. And this guy has pictures on his profile of the fingernails he likes on a girl and what turns him on. And he's very specific, and he has pictures and he really likes acrylics, and French is his favorite. And he says, I love a lass that gets her nails done often and keeps them fresh. When you hold her hand, it gives me tingles, blah, blah, blah. They can also scratch your neck.
He doesn't mention what it looks like wrapped around his dick or anything like that?
No, just the pictures of the hand. Okay. But here's the thing.
So the guy likes nails. Other people,
what he's into.
Other people, like someone that works out. Another person likes folks that like to travel. I get my nails. I don't get my nails done like I used to, because I ended up with them just totally messed up after doing some gardening a couple of years ago. So I finally had to stop. But I had acrylics for 25 years.
Did you really?
Yeah. They were fun. I get the most compliments on them. But I have, the reason I had acrylics is the fact that I had shitty nails. Genetically, I got crappy nails. So I'm not going to ruin them by doing anything to them. They're already shitty.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have to admit, though, I'm not sure that I suppose so. I'd probably put down that I like someone that, actually reads multiple sources of information and likes books stacked up around the house.
But
what's different to nails?
It's freaky a little bit, probably, or a little surprising maybe. But the guy's putting it out there and he's being honest. And I think it's really crappy of her to expose that. It's like, move on, swipe or whatever you do.
It doesn't work for you. The guy, it wasn't like, I have to admit, if someone had specifically said that they really enjoy having sex in a baby pool full of Jell-O, I suppose the same rules would apply there, but that is a little freakier than just ordinary nails that an enormous amount of American women do every day. There's nothing particularly exciting about, I don't know, different about that.
In body hair trends, this is...
Please say there, of course, there's a whole industry against hair removal, but,
Well, underarm hair is coming back. Bush is coming back. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Bushy eyebrows, even in some cases, are being featured again.
Oh, if I did not work on my eyebrows, I would have such a unibrow.
Would you?
Oh, my God. I come from genetically very hairy people. The constant fight for my middle-aged neckbeard and goatee is ongoing.
Oh, that's funny. I get it. Well, then this will truly perplex you, Colleen.
Okay.
There are people now, and I'm going to own up right now. I get eyelash extensions consistently. And I love them, and you'll never take them away from me because it cuts my time in half. But they are using these eyelash extensions, and they're putting them in their nose. And there is a hashtag on Instagram, hashtag nose hair extensions.
Okay, this sounds like a group of people that is just trolling the rest of the freaking world.
Yeah. It's there. You can look it up.
You know what? I'm not going to.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm just, no. Okay. No.
Okay. So we went from the ice bucket challenge. Remember that? Yeah,
that was quite a number of years ago now. That was, and it actually, it raised a crap ton of cash.
Oh my God. And a new one. I just saw a new one on TV recently. They're cracking an egg on their head, and it has to do with cancer as well.
Well, the proteins are good for your hair.
Yeah.
Massage it in there.
Yeah. Throw a little avocado in there. Give yourself a hair mask. Austria. Don't talk about Austria very much.
No. You never hear Austria man is drunk in park.
We do have 2 Florida man stories today. We do.
Honestly,
I know he's your fave.
I know that I should not be entertained by those things because generally the folks are having issues in their life. But it's so common that it is a trope that is just way too entertaining.
Yes. Well, cow kissing. And it is being promoted by a Swiss app called Castle. It's the Cow Kiss Challenge to raise money for charity. But politicians, farm officials, and even some of the cows are complaining that it's not safe. To approach a cow and surprise it, especially if it has a calf.
Yeah.
Cows are not tiny.
No. I mean, cow tipping. I honestly don't know whether that exists or not. People talk about it in the Midwest and all that. What is going through there?
I could never push a poor cow over.
Yeah, I don't understand this concept.
I would.
But I certainly would. Yeah, and I certainly would not want to wander over and smooch a cow. Now, mind you, if let's say the Minnesota Zoo has a farm on the backside of it, which is nice, and there are cows there, and there's little places that you can pet goats and you can see the little piglets and all that sort of stuff.
Love that.
It's just one of my favorite places, even though I go there without my kids sometimes. It's just fun to walk around the zoo. They have llamas this year, by the way. Ooh. And but I'm not even sure there that it's cows. I mean, they're really slobbery. I mean, I go to the state fair and I go to the moo booth every year and get myself a little water bottle because I fill out the little quiz and I go talk to a farmer. And I may have pet the little baby Scottish cow because it's right there, and but I'm not going to smooch it.
With or without tongues, they're suggesting. Ew. Just no.
Okay, I may have just thrown up a little bit in my mouth, and I like cows.
Yeah, I like cows too.
They go moo. There's a whole song about cows. Okay, sorry.
Florida man. This is funny. So basically, he was a wedding crasher. And what's classic about this story is not that he partied for a long time there. And
before anyone noticed?
Yeah, okay. Because it was the same. I thought he was one of yours, and I thought he was one of yours. But the funniest was the photographer was there, and she was trying to take a picture of the bride and the groom dancing, and the crasher was coming up and kind of dancing up against her. She says he was just having an absolute riot, and then she snapped the picture of the husband and wife looking and seeing him at the same time, going what? So they escorted him out, but then he snuck back in. And this time he got charged with disorderly conduct by the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, and led hotel security on a cat and mouse chase. I mean, this guy probably this is what he does for fun, but
once you're asked to leave, because it is amazing how many things just get down to being polite in other people's spaces and consent. He didn't, he was asked to leave, and therefore when I mean, honestly, there are plenty of folks that had large wedding parties and things are going really well, and then they see another group of people, and they sort of merge parties.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah. But they have permission.
Yes.
And it just getting down to the concept, of consent again. It's just totally weird how many times it should be common sense, but obviously it is not.
Oh, for sure. Well, the photographer, it was a female, and she says, I've caught a few before. They always try to get in front of the camera. But here's the thing. I guess the picture of the husband and wife that she got. At that moment, they're going to frame it. She goes, it's a great story. No hard feelings. He didn't ruin our night, and we'll never forget it.
Yeah.
So I would love to see that. And
I like the fact that they're both in tune. They both went,
wow.
Yeah.
I have managed to find a collection of weird sex with weird objects compilation. So I thought we'd run through a few of these. A couple of these I haven't heard before, Colleen.
Okay.
Couple we have. Okay. Malaysia. A 16-year-old got his penis stuck in a sewage pipe.
Here's an opening. I mean, honestly, is there anything that a person with a penis will not put their penis into?
Clearly not. In Sweden, Österland, a man was caught on camera, CCTV, having sex with a bike. Apparently, his routine is to go up, slash the tires, and masturbate while they deflate.
And there's no actual name for it yet, because usually there's some sort of, term or fetish or something that's going through there. So
haven't come across it yet. However, I would like to read you a quote from a bicycle owning victim named Per Edstrom. Mm-hmm. He said, "I am not scared of him, just irritated over all of the punctures I have had to fix." That would be irritating. Especially if that's how a guy gets around.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair amount of work. Even if you're good at it, to change a tire on a bike, because you got to make sure the rim's right and all this sort of stuff. And this, I mean, I don't do that. I bring my bike places to have shit done, but not that I've been on the bike for a while, but stuff. But and then it just the destruction of other people's property. I mean, slash your own damn bike's tire and jerk off.
I mean, because I just think and this is a little bit. Different than straight vandalism, but vandalism just pisses me off to no end. There is no point. I even get stealing. That makes more sense to me than vandalism. I mean, it just doesn't get. Moving on to Newcastle, Australia, a man was pulled over by cops driving down the freeway with his penis in a pasta jar.
Not a pasta sauce jar?
Yes.
Okay. Oh.
He was masturbating into the pasta jar. Mm-hmm. And the traffic stop, officers also found pornography, a homemade sex aid, women's stockings, and a Jack Russell Terrier for good measure. I hope to God the dog was not molested.
I mean, honestly, the driving, really, if you want to stick your dick into a jar of ragu, who might I care about that? But while driving, you put other people in danger.
See?
I mean, I'm just
saying.
Do you suppose maybe it was, like that? I mean, because tomato sauce is sort of acidic, so maybe it was, maybe more
exfoliating.
Or you would go for like Alfredo, creamier.
I definitely think that would be smarter. Mm-hmm. Definitely. A headline in British newspaper refers to him as the man who made love to pavements. This would be Florin Grossu, and he is an electrician, but he was caught thrusting his junk into a drain cover in the middle of the day. Confusing.
Some of these folks need to obviously move to Italy.
Right. Mm-hmm. Wiltshire, Britain, fucking a lamppost, arrested, released on bail. Yeah.
Now, how many of these folks are just beyond drunk? I mean, does it, just going through there because they're...
Yeah. That seems to be the only explanation.
Because I remember years ago, there were people that like, there was the video of someone that's actually like fucked their car. I mean, they had like created an opening so they could, and then just the folks that have like done the tailpipe and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's one of those in here too. Mm-hmm. What does the 911 dispatcher do when someone calls to report a man having sex with a garden table? Art Price Jr. of Ohio was arrested after screwing the umbrella hole on a deck
That's
table.
exactly where my brain went, I have to admit.
Completely nude.
That's not, honestly, that's not a very large hole.
No, not really.
No, that's
46-year-old Gerard Streeter worked at a hotel, and this is Waukesha, Wisconsin. I lived there for a brief period of time, by the way. But he was screwing a settee in the hotel lobby. Another guy.
That's just that's such a genteel word.
Settee. Isn't it a good word? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then another one, this one's fun. He set fire to a package of peanuts and said he burned himself to get people to call an ambulance. And then he tried to hump the front of the ambulance.
There is a case where I really hope that
he has to pay for
their call, because if you distract an ambulance for something as stupid as that. And where was that again?
That was in Devon, UK.
Mm-hmm. Because there were, one of the reasons I live in a city is that my brain wants to be close to, let's say, major medical center. That's how I want to do. But not everyone is near that. And if you've distracted an ambulance, that pissed me off.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Kansas, 24-year-old Ryan Malick pleaded guilty to lewd and lascivious behavior after humping an exhaust pipe in his apartment complex of an unconsenting car.
I mean, honestly, that takes some that takes some maneuverability. Depending on where you sort of around in. I mean, and then that asphalt or concrete parking lot. I mean, there's nothing,
And I certainly hope his tetanus shot is up to date.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Ohio man Edwin Charles Taberta arrested for having sex with a floaty, inflatable raft in broad daylight. It wasn't the first or even the second time. 2011, he was nicked for bonking a pink swimming pool raft, and in 2002. He had a turn with a neighbor's pumpkin in their Halloween display in their front yard.
Oh, one of those big.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he probably would have loved. I mean, this last October or the one beforehand? I was at Menards, and they had their Halloween stuff displayed over there, and they had like this 12-foot purple dragon with wings and a couple of other things.
Cute.
It was so awesome, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that would have, someone, probably bought that to screw it at one point.
I'm sure. Yeah, pretty much.
I'm very confused by the, because are there any women in there at all?
No. No, not in this one. Mm-mm. So, we will post this on the Great Northern Sex Cast Facebook page. Mm-hmm. But there's a really interesting article talking about age and, loss of libido in both men and women. Mm-hmm. And there's an interview, a magazine interview that we will post with a food expert named Jamie Hickey. She's a personal trainer and a nutritionist. And she says that spicy foods, specifically cinnamon, and the hot chilies, mm-hmm. and nutmeg. So nutmeg, cayenne, and cinnamon specifically. She says it helps circulation of blood, which leads to easier arousal, which all I can think of is a hot flash, which would not make me horny. But read the article and make your own judgments. Kind of an interesting premise.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. But think about it, because if you're a lot of these foods stimulate your saliva glands, and membranes and stuff like that. And membranes is membranes. And so if you've, stimulated one, you can probably easily it's going to work on other stuff.
Yeah.
That's going through there. I mean, that's the one thing I remember a lot of folks during allergy season, if your nose is runny and you're taking all the medications to dry up your nose, you're also drying up other stuff, which makes periods, I've been, learned about this. It's harder to shed your period. You have more cramps. You're less, you make less happy juices.
Really?
Because linings, as a nurse once told me, linings is linings.
Oh, interesting.
So if you're drying up your sinus linings,
yeah,
the other parts that your body that work similarly are the same things.
Mm.
So, but that's what's nice, because you don't have to be like postmenopausal or anything like that. Lubricants are useful no matter, during the time. A little extra movement and the play. And then some of them are, taste pretty damn good. I love the Wicked line.
Okay.
Sorry to go through there. But
Wicked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a good one to.
And I think I don't know if it's come in yet, but we're going to be bringing in a couple of Sliquid items. Oh. I've always liked that line, but it's, it's like we got it, then we didn't get it and stuff like that. And you just, gotta, I can't carry everything. Although technically I sort of can online. Yeah. But sorry, I'm digressing, which is what I do.
No, it is what you do. And yeah. So the rules resurfaced. Did you see this going around Facebook?
No. It's just like that rules about how long you're supposed to be before you call someone and all that sort of shit.
No, slightly different.
Okay.
This one emerged on Facebook after someone posted it to a wedding planning group, and this is antiquated. So the list is called 30 Ways to Keep Your Husband. So let's.
Oh, so they found an old list.
Oh, yeah, this is old. This is well, you'll know how old when I tell you.
Okay.
Just pipe up any time here,
okay.
Colleen. 1, never raise your voice for any reason to your husband. It's a sign of disrespect.
Oh, is this well, okay. Depending on where you live in this country, that could be now. But I'm assuming this is sometime in the 50s or even earlier.
Oh, I would think.
Okay.
Could be before, yeah. I'm going to hit just a few. This one slays me. Never use attitudes and moods to communicate with your husband. You never know how your husband will interpret them. Defensive women don't have a happy home.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I have some old cookbooks that incorporate some of this stuff about making sure that you take time to get like out of your house coat and dressed up before your husband comes home from work.
Yeah. Never be a wasteful wife. Your husband's sweat is too precious to be wasted. Never pretend to be sick for the purpose of denying your husband sex. You must give it to him how he wants it.
Oh my God.
I know. I know. Never answer for your husband in public opinion polls. Let him handle what is directed to him, although he may answer for you.
This sounds like a really, really, really religious based. You know, man is head of the house, woman is subservient. Sort of list. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. A lazy wife is a careless wife. Never be too demanding to your husband. Don't associate with the women who have a bad mental attitude about marriage. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. A lot of these are quite isolating, too.
Oh, God, they are. I mean, it goes on and we'll post them for you so you can, like, be appalled like we are. Okay. You know, I do. I check out certain places every once in a while. And because I was wondering, I thought I'd throw this out here to you and the audience. This whole thread started up about, God, it sure seems like our house uses a lot of toilet paper. So everybody's piping up about how much toilet paper. Well, how many people? Well, it's 2, adults, 2 children, blah, blah, blah. And, it basically comes down to style. And women definitely use more.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But we call it at our house the poop mitten. We go through a lot because we want a poop mitten. We don't want anything that might come near anything, even if we wash our hands. I don't know. Is there an acceptable rate?
I have no idea. I mean, I do know. I mean, it's the and then sometimes you can't do everything once because if you've got a low flow toilet, there's only so much you can put down at a time anyway.
Yeah.
So you can't. It's hard to use like an appropriate amount the first time because you do not want to clog up your toilet.
Yeah.
But I have, there's only 2 of us in our house, but there's people over all the time.
You have a lot of kids. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of kids. So there's just, the amount of toilet paper, I'm just like, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
You go through. That way. And here at the office, I'm not sure anyone other than myself knows how to change the toilet paper roll. I have no idea what happens in the men's room, but I know that I'm consistently changing the toilet paper roll.
Yeah, that's one of those things.
I mean, I'll go out to a restaurant. I'll go and they're like, when they have the single stall, the smaller places, and like, oh, damn it, I look under the sink, there's a roll because I mean, the amount of places I've changed the toilet paper roll.
I'm calling that so you.
But it's empty, and I'm in there. It's got to be around here somewhere. Yeah, there it is.
Funny. That's so funny. Okay, I just threw this in here because I think that, I mean, it's shocking, but it's also, there's a very cool aspect to it. I have never worked as a server. You said you worked in the kitchen.
I worked as a server for like 2 weeks, and I said, the hell with this. I was like 16 years old. I did not have the mental ability at that point to, like, when someone was bitching about something that was stupid, to, like,
deal with it. Yeah.
I much preferred hiding back in the kitchen, and I prefer cooking anyway.
Yeah.
I had really no need to be nice to people.
Well, and I couldn't do it. Servers, I mean, all power to them. It's a hard job. I mean, there's no question. Well, this one made an epic mistake. This customer had ordered about a $350 bottle of wine, but was instead served one that was worth $5,700 by mistake. It was mixed up, and the employee was absolutely devastated, and
But if you're at a place that has wine that costs that much, don't they? I never can pronounce this word. Don't they have a sommelier? Whatever.
Sommelier.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised at this. That they would just be able to go and grab, a multi-$1,000 bottle of wine. You'd think there would be someone there that is getting it and doing. They take the order.
Yeah.
But I'm confused. I mean, I have to admit that's a little mind-boggling that it was a server's issue.
Well, yeah. And all they say is that they were really, really busy. But the restaurant tweeted out, they said, to the customer who accidentally got given a bottle of Chateau Le Pin Pomerol,
blah, 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 yeah.
Last night, we hope you enjoyed your evening. And then they put, this is my favorite, to the staff member who accidentally gave it away, chin up. One-off mistakes happen, and we love you anyway. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, I much prefer to be in the kitchen because I'm sure I would have done something like that or yelled at the person who dumped the sugar packets into their purse.
Well, my sister got fired from every waitressing job she ever had. And one was because she was serving a sundae, and they were these tall, tippy things.
Oh, those two big, tall tulip glasses? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense for freaking ice cream.
Saucer, right?
Yeah.
And she slipped, and it went right into this guy's lap and upside down right in his crotch. And she lost it laughing. And he was a dick. Instead, he was like, she needs to be fired. And Cindy's like, she laughed all the way out of the restaurant as she's tossing her apron off. But I mean, come on. Yeah. That's funny.
No, that and the fact that it was also really small, so I never could carry a large tray anyway. I mean,
I don't know how they do it. I see these little bitty people.
I'm fascinated. I mean, like I said, I could easily work in the kitchen. It's not a problem. I can grab a 50-pound bag of flour and do all this sort of stuff. But bringing out the regular, no.
Yeah, no, that's. Did you hear about the Wendy's employee that was filmed bathing in the sink there in the kitchen?
No. Then another thing, that's not. I mean, you can't tell me that there's not an employee bathroom.
Well,
although the place I used to work at, the employee bathroom is generally where people would sneak off and have sex. It was. I was like, oh, people.
Yeah, that's
because
gross.
I'm a cook. And so, I mean, I washed my hands up to my freaking elbows. I did a spectacular job, all that. But it would drive me nuts. I would have to go out into the main restroom area. Because I'm like, because you're just I spilled something on me or, I'm sweating. I do not need, they do not need, I was adorable. I was cute. I was tiny. But still, they did not need to see their cook in the bathroom.
Right.
You know what I mean? It always drove me crazy.
Yeah.
I was going through there.
Yeah, that is.
I worked in probably one of the cleanest kitchens that ever existed on this planet. It was a spectacular place, and, but I still would have preferred to be able to, not be distracted by the folks that there were, someone was selling pot or taking or smoking a joint or having sex in the employee bathroom in the background.
That's just not cool. But what bothers me about this story is, first of all, it happened in Florida, so it's a Florida man who did it. I feel bad for this franchise owner because it damaged their reputation. Okay.